Hi, it's Dr. Spears with drpremed.com and been doing a little bit of research, talking to a lot of pre-med students, figuring out what's going on because people are getting ready to apply to medical school. You want your dreams, your goals, you want to become a reality, you want to get into medical school. And it's very interesting to see what's happening in this process of wanting to become a doctor, wanting to get into medical school, and there's so many reasons why you want to be a doctor. One of the things that I'm hearing from a lot of students is that there's parental pressure where you want to make your parents proud, you want to make them happy, you know that they made a lot of sacrifices for you, and so that's one of the reasons that you want to go into medicine. That's fine, but you also want to make sure you're doing it because it's what you personally want to do and not that you're living up to the standard that somebody else has for you. And I know, like, or most of us, we have a scientific background, a scientific bent, and medicine's definitely going to allow you to keep doing that throughout your career. And then I'm also learning that, let's just be honest, let's be realistic about things, that medicine for some people is a job, some of it's a career, some it's a lifestyle. But then whatever you do, you have to put food on the table, you have to have a house, you need shelter, you need clothes, and all of that stuff. And so people consider medicine or being a doctor because there's a prestige factor, there's the power, and then you also make extremely good money. I'm not going to knock any of that because whatever you do, you're probably going to have a salary or some type of compensation, so that's important. However, I know that getting into medical school is extremely tough. It's very competitive. I remember when I was doing one of my third year rotations, one of the doctors, she said, what did she said? She said that the hardest part of medical school is getting in. And that's basically the truth to the matter. It's extremely hard to get in, where 60% of people who apply don't get in, and I don't want that to happen to you. And we all know you need to have great test scores. You need to have a high GPA because that's going to make the difference. And then you also need to have your extracurricular activities, and you also even need some unique experiences and some motivating factors that's really going to help set you apart from everybody else who's applying. Because when you think about it, your MCAT score and your GPA, that's just a minimum. That's just what AdComs expect you to have. And then from there, we start digging into your application and seeing what do you actually bring to the table, what are you going to contribute to the field of medicine. And so, what I want you to do at this point is to move beyond thinking that, oh, all I need to do is have a top MCAT score and then a high GPA, because that's not enough. I was looking over some data from the last year's application, and it showed that there were 849,000 applications sent out to the medical schools. So, on average, pre meds were applying to 16 medical schools. And you think about that, are there even like 5,000 different ways or combinations of MCAT scores and GPAs you can come up with? I'm sure there's a math person who can work out the numbers and give an exact figure on that, but we're not going to think about that. I just want you to know, like, from a baseline level, there's only so much that you can do with your MCAT and GPA to separate yourself. And so those numbers are there. And I like to say, for a lot of students, when you're applying to medical school, that's pretty much set in stone. You can't change that. But you do have absolutely 100% control over your personal statement that you're going to write and how you're going to respond to secondary applications. And even, what have you been doing? What do you bring to the table? Why should I even take a risk on you? Why should I take time out of my busy schedule as a physician, as a dean of a medical school, to even consider meeting with you via medical school interview to see if you should even get a privilege to be accepted, admitted to my medical school. That's what's going on, and that's what you need to think about when you're in this process of being a pre-med. Are you showing that you have the characteristics, the personality, the academics, the credentials, that out of these 849,000 applications, is yours going to shine out? Are you doing something special? Are you unique? Are you really in this for the right reasons that it comes across? You're not just telling adcoms things that you think we want to hear or that you think is going to be good sound bites that you rehearsed and you think it's going to get you across the finish line, because it's not. Whatever you do, you need to be authentic. You need to be yourself, because we see students all the time, year in, year out. And so you think something's novel, you think it's unique, you think you're pulling the wool over our heads. You're not. I just want you to know that. And it's not to knock you if that's the approach you're going to take, but I just want to alert you to things so that when you are in this process of applying, when you're going through medical school interviews, that it's going to result in your most wanted response, and that's going to be to get that acceptance, to know that all this hard work you did as a pre-med is going to pay off. And there's a lot of things out there about what it actually takes to be successful in getting into medical school. There's so much misinformation, disinformation, stuff from a relic in the past that's just not working anymore, that you really need to assess where are you getting this information? Do these people really have your best interests at heart? And can they help you get across the finish line to your white coat and stethoscope and get you into medical school? That's what you need to consider. I'm Dr. Spears. I've been helping pre-med students for years. And so when I give advice and suggestions and mentoring and coaching, it's not like, oh, well, this worked for me, so then I think it's going to work for you, or I know somebody who is in admissions, or I have relatives who are physicians, I have friends who are in medical school, and so based on what they told me, I think I'm qualified to tell you what you should do or not do to get in medical school. Nope, nope, nope. You're getting firsthand experience from somebody who's been there, done that, and not so far removed from the process that I don't even remember what it's like to be a pre-med student going through this process of trying to get into medical school to be a doctor. And what I can do for you is I can lay out the roadmap, a concrete plan that works for your individual needs, your personal situation. That's going to be what gets you to medical school. It's not going to be cookie cutter. I'm going to say this is what you need to put in your application. This is what you need to avoid putting in your application. What about these extracurricular activities? What type of theme do you have for your overall application? How are you going to grab the AdCom's attention? And what's your elevator pitch? If you had 30 seconds in an elevator with an AdCom for medical school, what would you say to them in that moment that's going to allow them to remember you and say, you know what? I like what you said. I like how you present yourself. I want to invite you into my medical school for an interview. And if you do well in that, then you're going to get in and you're going to live the rest of your life as a doctor, which nobody can take away from you once you accomplish that feat and task. But again, as that physician that I met when I was at one of my third-year rotations said, the hardest part of medical school is getting in, and let me be the person who's going to walk you through everything you need to do so that you don't fall on the wrong side of admissions decision, because I want you to get in and live out your dreams of becoming a doctor.